I'm Courtney Cauthen, and my concentration here at Gallatin is capitalism and democracy in America, looking at the institutions we've created to run our political and economic systems. For my senior project this semester, I wanted to take a look at an alternative that would challenge the assumptions we've made about these systems. And that's what took me to Port Chester, New York, where they recently enacted a new voting system. Port Chester is about an hour north of New York City. It has a population of nearly 30,000, half of whom are Latino. Being a village, Port Chester doesn't collect taxes, but it does have a local government, consisting of 6 Board of Trustee members and a mayor. Since being incorporated, Port Chester has elected its Board of Trustees with a at-large winner-take-all system. At-large just means there are no districts. Winner-take-all is the same way we elect our national officials. Whichever candidate wins the most votes wins the seat, regardless of whether the number of people who voted for them are more or less than the number of people who don't end up represented. By the year 2000, this had manifested itself in Port Chester with a 46% Latino population and 0 Latino representatives on the board ever. So in 2001, a Latino man by the name of Cesar Ruiz ran for the Board of Trustees. And despite winning nearly 100% of the Latino vote, he didn't win a seat on the board. So he went to the Department of Justice, and the Department of Justice sued Port Chester under the Voting Rights Act, which very generally states that every group of citizens has the right to an equal opportunity to elect a representative of their choice. And the judge that heard the case agreed, and he said that Port Chester needed to reform their electoral system. So instead of opting for districts, which is the traditional remedy for this violation, they opted for cumulative voting. Instead of giving every voter 1 vote, they give every voter 6 votes. Sound crazy? Actually, systems like cumulative voting, other proportional representation systems, are used throughout the world. In most advanced democracies, much of Western Europe uses systems like this, and in fact, in the past in the US, places like New York City use systems like this in the 1930s and 40s. Cumulative voting itself allows for a voter to give 1 vote to 6 candidates, or any combination between, or even 6 votes to 1 candidate. What this does is it allows citizen groups who feel particularly passionate about their identity or a certain issue to elect a representative, even if they're not in the majority. Still sound crazy? You're not alone. These systems are often characterized as un-American, unconstitutional, and undemocratic. And these weren't words just used in Port Chester. Even the national media took attention.
What's more, most registered voters in Port Chester are non-Latinos. Why should their voice be diminished by giving the minority a greater voice than the majority? Is that anathema to democracy?
Is that anathema to democracy? The 2010 cumulative voting election in Port Chester yielded these results, including the election of a Latino to the Board of Trustees. Now, it seems like a fairly successful election. However, this group is now leading a charge to appeal the decision that instituted cumulative voting. They took a vote in February, and 4 voted in favor of appealing. The 4 who voted in favor are the 4 most conservative members of the board, often evoking terms like un-American, undemocratic. The 2 who voted against appealing were the Latino and the Democrat. And you think this might make sense. The white conservative members are opposed to a system that was originally enacted intended to elect the Latino member. But actually, in my analysis of the electoral results, it were the 2 most conservative members who benefited most from cumulative voting. These percentages show the portion of their supporters who gave them all 6 of their votes. This reveals that Port Chester's group of conservative white voters also constitute a cohesive voting bloc. The reason I presented on this today was to really encourage you to reconceptualize your assumptions about what we think as a democratic system. Whether it's Luis Moreno, who's the first Latino representative on the Port Chester Village Board of Trustees, whether it's the communists who were elected to the New York City Council via proportional representation in the 30s and 40s, which, by the way, is why it was repealed, or whether it's the white conservative representatives on the Port Chester Village Board of Trustees, All of these individuals are representing strong, vocal groups of citizens who feel passionately about public policy issues. And I'll ask you the same question as Jarrett on Fox News. Is this anathema to democracy? Thank you.